First of all, in tennis, you cannot take losses seriously because but the nature of the sport is like that. Except Roger Federer, Rafa, and Novak and Andy when he was playing, every other player in the world loses more than he wins.
Hey Vishal, how's it going?
Good, bro. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's another Sunday for us. Getting ready for the week.
మళ్ళీ సండే నా అప్పుడే సండే ఏంటో.
I don't know how yesterday went by so fast.
Dude, I don't even know that we had yesterday, man.
Dude, right? We woke up so late from our game night on Friday.
Yeah, so
Uh,
but I'm glad that we're doing a podcast today, and like this is gonna be interesting, and I hope that the audience will be entertained. So without further ado, do you want to introduce the topic and guest?
Sure, man. Thank you. So, guys, today's topic is about getting to know the other side of a professional sports player. Many people get to see how they do in tournaments, but not many people have a chance to get the inside scoop on how they prepare physically and mentally. Today, we hope to uncover all that, and we're delighted to have Mukund on the call today. You guys should see how he plays. He's on the Indian Tennis Daily YouTube channel and has a lot of videos of him on the ATP tour. Vishal and I both were avid players, and we were for sure that when we saw him that we would lose 1v2 against him. So welcome, Mukund. How's it going, man?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
What's up? Of course. So how are you doing today, Mukund?
Pretty big change for me because I've been home for 6 months during lockdown, and suddenly I'm in a room again alone. So that feels very strange. So I can't believe I did this for so many years, but yeah, slowly getting used to the feeling that mom's not there to cook food anymore. So I gotta go get my own lunch and dinner.
Nothing can beat mom's food, right? And cooking.
No, yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely.
So Mukund, like straight off the bat, here a question for you. Walk us through your shoes in your personal life as well as your professional life.
It's a very difficult question actually when you ask about my personal life, because when you say something like tennis, or when you say something like acting, these things, they are not a profession, they become a way of your life, isn't it? So you're what you are on the tennis court, outside as well. So it is very difficult for a professional athlete, although he has to do it at one stage of his life, to separate these two different people and make sure that tennis stays on the court and outside stays as the person he is. And for me, that transition process is happening only now. Until only now, I'm learning to how to keep things at the tennis court when they're done, and to enter the room as whatever happened. And when I spoke to one of my coaches last year, and this was one of the biggest lessons I think I would have learned in 2019, is that you should live tennis, but tennis shouldn't become your life. So that's the process I'm in right now. So until 18, 19, 20, even 21, so I'm 23 now. So the last 3-4 years, there was no such thing as personal life. Whatever I worked on the court, I'm always doing it in the room, trying to do the shadows, trying to watch videos. And when talking about Vishnu and that YouTube live, there's so many times that Vishnu has said, can we just stop talking tennis right now at the dinner table? No, we right now we're having dinner, and we're not allowed you're not allowed to talk tennis anymore, talk anything else. Until now, that was the stage, but the last 6-7 months, it's been different. I've been learning as a person, trying to become better at that, trying to learn that skill of how to, whatever happens outside, it stays there. When not, more than about getting frustrated or elated about wins and losses, it's about just taking your mind off that and coming back as the person you are. Because end of the day, tennis, whatever you want to call it, a passion or whatever, end of the day, it's what you do for a living, right? That can't be your whole 24 hours. I've learned a lot, like stock market trading, reading books, and these habits and all I've formed only now. I've started talking to 2 3 people who have no clue. I talk tennis with them and just try and talk and normal things. So these are the things that I'm doing, but I don't think I've learned that skill completely yet. But I'm on the way to say, okay, this is my personal life and this is my professional life. Professional life, I would say the last 2 years has been a very big change for me, physically and mentally, because in 2018 I started working with the coach I have now. He's from Austria. So the journey started like this. I was before that, from 2016 until 2018. 2016, I was in Spain on and off, just playing in an academy. There was no specific coach for myself. And then 1 year I was just doing freelancing here and there. And I have one more very close friend, like Vishnu's age. His name is Prajnesh, and he is India's number 1 player. Right now, he's India number 1. And he's also like my elder brother. If I would not say my best friend, because I don't abuse him or do stuff like that, but we like each other a lot. And he said, listen, you have to get yourself a coach now, and otherwise you're not making it anywhere. I still remember this conversation. We were having this in Jakarta in Indonesia, in a restaurant, and he was telling me, like, I need to talk to you, and this is what he said. Going around playing here there, you're only wasting your time. And if you want to realize your potential, you need somebody who really steps it up and takes charge of your career, and somebody who has been there and who knows how to do it, right? So then that year I was in China, and my present coach's another player was playing a match after me. So my coach was just watching that, and I lost really badly. I lost actually 1-1. But when I came out, he said, you know what, you play. You need to get much fitter. You're really unfit, but if you could work on some things, then you could be really good. I said, yeah, okay. I didn't really take it seriously that time, but 2 3 months later, my mom said, you should get back in touch with this person, and that's how things started. It started in Feb 2018 and was a very tough journey that time, because when I started with him, we both had problems with many things. He had to change a lot of things in me. He From the way I walk to how I present myself, how I introduce myself to somebody, how I attend a press meet. From those things too, because that time everything was raw. I was not a polished person. I did not have the demeanor that I have today. I didn't have the aura that I carry today, and I was just a childish. I was nice at heart, which is why so many people came forward to help me. But it was not in a. The attitude was not polished yet. So, and I was thinking, why are you paying attention on these things? I would just like to learn tennis from now for now. But as time went by, and tennis was also very tough because it was a new routine for me. It was a new intensity. So suddenly, to play before in India, when you train one day is great, but next day nobody shows up. But when I came to Vienna, it was okay. Monday to Friday, it's you're always pushed hard. So also physically to adjust to all that was very difficult. But I had some great results immediately after I started playing with him. And then life went the other way around, because when suddenly I shot up to little bit of fame, expectations started to kick in, and suddenly, as a player who was just average hanging out, I was a few spots away from playing French Open and Wimbledon qualies. So suddenly, when that situation came, I didn't know how to handle it. So, and then I was not playing the way I was playing when I joined my coach. Because when I joined my coach, the one thing I could do was, if he said something, I could do it straight away. If he said hit it to the fence, I could hit it without thinking anything. I want you to hit this ball 500 kilometers an hour. I'm gonna try and do it. I don't care winning, losing, whatever, because that time I had nothing to lose, right? But once I reached a certain stage, and then I started expecting things out of myself, saying, yeah, I mean, right now I'm at this level where I have to perform to certain, which I don't blame anybody for. It was completely my own expectations on myself, which happens to every player, and I don't blame myself either for it. But this is what happened, and then for 7 8 months, it was a very big mental struggle. Once I reached a stage, then from there to go to the next level was a very big mental battle. From 2018 to from 2018 May to July, I had some amazing results, but from 2018 July to another year to like 2019 August, it was a very big grind because of these things. I was not mentally that free anymore in the mind, and suddenly I didn't know how to handle the new success, because in juniors I never outperformed myself any time for me to know what that felt like. I was always the guy who was the underdog mostly, and then suddenly to be top 4 top 3 in the country, it just felt very new, and that's about it. So by the time I got out of all that, then last year was very good. I learned how to not put too much pressure on myself and just to go play, and this year was a great start. I had my first top 50 win on my birthday in January. So the guy, I think, he beat Rafa, or he the week before or something like that happened. So it was a good win, and till March I was actually playing good, and then this thing happened. But looking forward to get back and see what happens.
That is just amazing, Mukund, because see, we start off with a journey and we don't know where we're going to end, right? And the reason for asking the question in the first place is everybody goes through a different situation, right? Like,
Definitely.
especially you said you're only 23, right? So a lot of changes happen between like 18 and 23. People graduate college or people are getting serious about their career, and in that situation you really don't know like how to handle the like all these type of things that happen, right? You're telling me
Definitely.
that only just a few years ago that you started to develop a sense that, hey, like I need to have something on like my personal life too, right? And how to switch off when you're done. That is something
Yeah.
I can relate to, and I'm sure a lot of other people can relate to, because I recently graduated college and I started a job, and my dad and I work 8 to 5, right? Right after 8 to 5, my dad he stops talking about his work. But for me, because I'm new, I constantly think about it. And my dad told me like, "Hey, it's 5 p.m. You shouldn't really worry about your job right now. This is your personal time. This is for you to rejuvenate and take the time off, relax a little bit, get your self development, like anything that relates to it, like." It could be fitness, it could be like learning new things, doing chores, helping yourself mentally or physically, anything, right? So that is definitely a journey that everybody goes through, and I think in your situation, tennis, yeah, it's really intense. There's a lot. It's physically draining and mentally draining. So I just wanted to add that comment there, and it's pretty cool that you've been through this journey and you're like continuing it right now.
It's a pretty important, very game changing age, isn't it? From 18 to 23, because I had this even when I was 18. When I was 18, 17, 18, I was performing pretty okay for that age, good actually. But suddenly at 19, 20, things are not the same. You're not a junior, and you're not. It's okay to lose anymore. You're there to actually play, and you don't have the excuse, yeah, I'm still young and I have time. Things are actually getting started. So it's a big age actually, for anybody, like you said, for any walk of life. I think it changes a lot mentally for a person.
I think getting to know yourself is obviously a constant journey, and I think from you've gone through so much transformation, Mukund. I don't feel like not having time for your personal life. It just tells me how much you love what you do. and that you didn't have time for yourself. For us, we're constantly trying to get A's in our classes, studying, graduate college, what's next, and even now, I found similarities. I'm finding right now. I'm 23 also. This 2 years was my time to expand myself, and I've been starting to read books. This is the only time I got within the 23 years to learn about how to view human, or control your emotions, or like getting to know yourself spiritually. And so yeah, it's definitely a good thing. It's definitely a point where you should like stop and think about how you act, or like how you think. So it's definitely, I'm glad pandemic is helping everyone to have time for themselves. So, and I'm really glad gone through. I'm assuming you started tennis at an early age, and you played here and there, and you really got serious and got a mentor, and how that changed you so much that you started seeing improvements in yourself, and you started winning games. You know, it's good to see where you're at and what future has to come. I know everyone wants to start learning tennis at some point in their lives. If someone were to start learning tennis, what is the first basic thing that you would try to have them learn?
Try to enjoy it while you play.
Wow. I was expecting like, oh, this is how you do your first right hand
No,
stroke.
all that will fall into place automatically. Try to. The first lesson I would say is, if you are enjoying it already, then things will start to fall. And if it's somebody who's like a young person who wants to make it a career, also I would say the same thing. Don't think too much ahead. In 10 years down the line, I want to do this. Today you're on court, just enjoy your time. If you're destined to make it, nothing can stop you. If you're not, then anyway you won't make it. So there's no point stressing about it.
That's a really nice answer, man. Thanks for sharing that.
Because I feel things like tennis and music or acting, you don't choose it professionally. The profession chooses you if you're worthy enough. So if nobody knows why some guys are famous when it comes to music, but for whatever reason they are. So tennis chooses you professionally. If it thinks you're worthy enough, then you will make it either way. And if it thinks that you're not worthy enough, then no matter what you do, you won't make it. So rather not waste your time in that. But tennis can transfer, any sport or any thing which has losses week in week out can transform you as a person. So you should focus on that and become a better person. Because one thing what you can have in common with Roger or a Rafa or any or an Obama is not their success probably, but the attitude, right? You can behave like Barack Obama if you want. Maybe you may or may not become the president of the United States. That's a different story. But you can behave like a legend or a champion or anybody. Attitude is for everybody. You can talk like them. You can carry yourself like them. So that is, if you take care of that, then your career takes care of itself. You will get where you have to. I don't know if this is right or wrong, but it's just something that I believe in strongly.
No, that's perfect. I feel like I'm watching a motivational video and with some, powerful words. Yeah. Thanks for that.
I was left speechless with that answer, and all I could say is it left me with a smile. What you said, because that really hit me, and I truly believe that too.
Mukund, when starting at a young age, we do things out of interest, or like our parents tell us to do something. We enjoy a lot of things. We don't like certain things. When did that occur to you that, okay, this is what I enjoy, but I actually want to take this the next step for tennis?
You mean when I took it very seriously?
Yes.
I don't know, because my parents always wanted me to do this. Like for them, it was like this. Tennis is his life. We're going to give it the best shot, and then if he fails later, it's fine. But it was never for me like, let's play till 13 and see. At the age of 4 5 itself, my dad was very clear. My mom also was very clear that okay, this is what he's going to do. We're going to give it our best shot, and then If it happens, it happens. Doesn't happen, doesn't happen. I don't know why they wanted something out of the box, but I owe it to them actually. And yeah, I mean, I anyway at the end of the day, if you look at it, you have to do something for a living. And then when I did something for so many years, then it just became a way of life. That's all I can say. Actually, this answer surprises a lot of people, but it is the truth. Actually, it had nothing to do with me choosing it. Actually, this is what I had since the age of 3, 4. This was my routine, so I don't have another life to compare and see which one I like more. So it was just this, and I have a liking for it at one point. Yes, definitely, because as a person, I am competitive. Like I don't like. I it's tough to say that I don't like losing, because I think losing is very important also in one's life. But whatever I do, I try to do it 100%. So anything that had to do with winning or losing, I think I would have enjoyed eventually. So tennis did provide that high and adrenaline rush. So that's how it ended.
I am pretty surprised with the answer. Most Desi parents are not obliged to their kids choosing a sports career path, but anything that you wanted to do, I think it's really important. Parents have your back, and that's what they did in you, and that's pretty awesome.
I mean, I think I had their back. I supported their dream. They didn't support mine. My dad dreamt that okay, my son should do something out of the box, and I gave in to that and did all this. So I had their back end of the day.
Do you still think the profession chose you, or you're still living your parents' dream?
No, now it's changed. Now I think it's my way of life, and I wouldn't stop for anybody in the world. It changed when I was, I think, 7, 8 years old already. That changed. Then it was not somebody else's anymore, and it was already mine.
So Mukund, wins and losses happen, and how do you receive these moments, and what do you do to build character on and off the court? Like, how do you feel when you win? How do you feel when you lose? And then how do you kind of receive these?
Winning, losing, I was actually very short tempered when I was young. I didn't really take losses the right. But now I'm one of the best behaved players on the tour. I feel when one goes a certain way for so many years. First of all, in tennis, you cannot take losses seriously, because but the nature of the sport is like that. Except Roger Federer, Rafa, and Novak and Andy when he was playing, every other player in the world loses more than he wins. It can be even David Federer, who is number 5 in the world. Maybe some guy who is 60 in the world loses in the second round. Federer loses in the semis, but that week he ends up losing in the semis. So both of them are losers. So unless you're a Roger, you're not winning 2 slams a year and 3 masters to go home with more wins. So the nature of the sport is such that losses are just part of the game. And secondly, you gotta rate yourself when you play a match, not how the result is. You may have won, but if you played very defensive, or you didn't do the right things that day that you were supposed to, or that the opponent played like crap, then you should be honest with yourself and not take that day as a win. Whereas on another day you may lose badly, but you may have played courageous tennis, and you may have missed by a few centimeters here and there, and you did what you were supposed to do. Then that day you're supposed to be happy, although you lost. It's all how you view yourself, and this goes in every walk of your life, I think. To give you an example, I don't know, if you take a relationship, and if you did everything to make the girl feel happy, then there's not, and then still she walks away from your life, I don't think that counts as a loss. In hindsight, you've only done something for a person, and you've become a better person. So I'm not sure if you can entirely call that a loss, right? But at the same time, you do everything shit, and you don't invest enough time, and you end up getting married, that also doesn't count as a win. So end of the day, how you rate yourself and how true you are to yourself is what should decide your perspective of the end result, not the end result itself.
Not everyone starts with that mature mindset. I think enough losses teach you to become this type of thinking that losses are good for you. And how many rackets did you break when you were young?
A lot. When I was young, a lot. Many. Actually, in the last 5 years, I haven't broken even one. Last 6, 7 years, I haven't broken one. But I think it's impossible to count. It's many. I feel sorry for my dad because when I started getting sponsored for rackets, I actually stopped breaking them. When we had to pay for it, I was breaking them. So it's pretty ironic, but I never smash rackets. I don't smash them out of anger, but I just keep tapping them, keep throwing it here, there. And if I'm unlucky that day and it touches the wrong place, then it just breaks. But I don't smash it into two pieces. That doesn't happen.
When famous people do it on the TV, like, whoa, they're really mad.
For them, one racket is like a Pringles for you, so it doesn't really matter.
I've seen Djokovic do it all the time. I know that in several of his matches, he just like when he loses or something, he'll just like throw it on the ground, just get a new one.
Yeah. I mean, for him, even the racket company owner would sit in front of him to break it. That's not an issue for them.
It's funny. When you were talking about the wins and losses, it kind of reminded me of like such a cliche answer that I was thinking. I was like, someone else might have won the match. Your opponent might have won the match, but at the end of the day, since you put your heart out, you won people's hearts. So
You won your own heart. Whether you win people's hearts or not, that's a different story. But
well said. Well said.
You win your own respect, and when you see yourself in the mirror, you will feel proud, and that's the only win you need to get. People will come and go. You can't be. I know you said it as a metaphor, but I'm just saying
Yeah,
that more than anybody else, you will just feel good about yourself.
that's definitely a good, honest answer.
If you were to be coach one day, I'll come to you. But
I think it'll be better off if you send your son. It could be more productive.
there's a lot of time for that. Mukund, out of all the games you played, were there any greatest moments that made you scream so much after you win a point, or just happy moments on the court while in game?
Yeah, most of them were when I was very young, actually. When I was around 10, 12 years old, there was this one match that I lost to a guy, Vishnu, to be, why not talk about him? He beat me 8 times until I beat him the ninth time finally. Because I really struggle to play him because he's always that, he's Vishnu Anna, and I am so fond of him that I could never see him as an opponent when I started to play him, and then I kept on losing, continuously when I was 17, 18. And then finally, the ninth time, I beat him. So this was, I think, by far the most special for me. And he also admits that he gives his best every time he plays me, especially. Maybe other matches he might not, but when he plays me, he just wants to test me maximum. So he said, that match I did everything I could, and by far the best match I played, but it was just not enough. So that ninth win was very special. I didn't scream, obviously, but yeah.
With a game like this, Mukund, which requires a lot of quick thinking, agility, and muscle memory, how do you condition your mind?
Hard work.
Hard
I
work.
think people, psychologists these days, they make a scam saying, mental training, this quantitative thinking and all that bullshit. But I say just get on the goddamn court first, and play for 7 hours a day, and then when you're 25 and you need that one extra point, then we can talk about mental training and meditation and all this crap that people are talking these days. But first play tennis like a pro, and then we see what more you can do. So I think muscle memory, neuroscience, all these things are good to talk, but end of the day, you gotta get there and play. And repetition, what is what gets you there, because it's something that coordination plays a big role in it, isn't it? You have to coordinate so many moments. So to master each one of the sequences, the brain takes time. So time on the court matters, and after a stage, then quality matters. Yes, not all your life quantity alone is enough. Then there will come a point in your career where quantity goes away and quality comes into place, where you work more on the specifics. Yes, this one particular shot, to put it in a proper place in the court. But until then, the main work is done through repetition. Maybe it's not of top intensity, but you gotta stay there and keep playing till it becomes a habit.
So actually do the stuff, do the actual practice and hard work,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
don't worry about
100%,
anything else.
100%. Do the monotonous work that looks boring to other people. That's the only way. There's no shortcut for it.
So, Mukund, do you have like a fitness like schedule, or what's your fitness regimen like?
Right now, I mean, the virtual world, my trainer comes on Zoom. So he sees me do it. So that's the only fitness I have. And then the running, I do it by myself. He gives me the heart rate that I should run at. So that's lockdown fitness that I used to get fitter than before. But before that, it was normally one fitness session a day and two tennis sessions. And my coach was also taking care of my fitness for a brief 5 6 months, as he also was studied about training a little bit. But now I have a new trainer since lockdown. My old friend who lives in Spain. Anyway, Zoom, how does it matter who lives where? So
What do you think makes you a unique player?
I think the ground stroke quality probably, because my wingspan, when they check my hands from my end of my right finger to the end of the left finger, it is more than my height itself. It's more than 6 feet 1 inch, which is only 1 in 10,000. So when I hit the ball, because my wingspan is longer than the other, it's going to be better. So I think that's. I didn't even know I had that, but probably that's an added advantage.
Nice, nice.
And also an all-round game. I think I can do everything pretty much decent. There's nothing on all surfaces that I can play on.
So last question before we move to the last round. Let's
Sure.
say you're playing a game, you're in the last set, and at match point, you're exhausted, everyone's looking at you, you're sweating, and you just want to end the game, right? Tell us what goes
Yeah.
on in the last moments of the match. What goes on in your mind?
I speak in Telugu. In all these moments, I speak some crap in Telugu because that my inner voice. Whenever I'm stressed, my Telugu thing comes out. So I make this.
Yeah, tell us. Can you share a few words?
I don't know exactly what else can I say. త్వరగా వెళ్దాం రా బాబు అని I tell when I need a first serve. And I also say ni abba many times when I miss something silly. So that's about it. But when in tough moments like this, I just tell myself, make sure to do something that you don't regret later. It's winning, losing is fine, but you gotta walk out of court without regret. So play tennis with a big heart, and if you win, you win. You lose, you lose.
So Sai and I muted ourselves because we're laughing in the background because it's something that it's pretty easy to relate to. Because I mean, we do that all the time, right? Whether it
Yeah.
be playing a match or anything, right?
Also,
Like
that one Venu Madhav's dialogue always I keep telling Vidu, నిజంగానే నన్ను లేపేసేలా ఉన్నాడు.
ఇప్పుడు నీకుంటది next point నాదే.
So Mukund, it's great that you came onto our podcast and shared those experiences, right?
Yeah.
So it's just amazing because the idea of our podcast, like I say this every podcast to whoever watches it, is to make an impact on at least one person, right? Now, in the sense, whoever is watching it, if they're able to pick up the tennis racket and play a few games, and despite the win or loss, if they build a character, if they build the attitude, I think that's a success. And I think
Definitely.
I love your straightforward answers. I love your comic timing. Um, that's something that I think people should have, because you don't want to like say an answer that's sugar coated or not realistic. And I really loved your real answers, and thank you for that. And now we're going to go to our last part of our podcast, which is rapid fire questions. So I'll ask one question that's related to tennis, and then the others, not about it. But who's your favorite tennis player of all time?
Of all time, Of course, Roger, the way he makes it look, but any day I would choose Prajnesh as an inspiration. My best friend, he is always will be my favorite player. It doesn't matter if if I will be higher ranked than him, which I think I definitely will be, but he'll always stay my all-time favorite.
Is Prajnesh the guy #1 India?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what have you been doing the last few months during quarantine, other than your tennis? Have you picked up any skills?
I mean, I made I don't know what, couple grand in stock market, and that's about it. But
Oh,
I
that's
knew
good.
zero about it. It just started one day randomly by one of my ex coaches who trained me in India. He said, "I want you to pick an alternate career other than tennis that you can make money from." And I was like, what can I do? I mean, give me some general store items and I can probably try and sell them. But other than that, I don't know anything. So, but then yeah, because he does stock market trading, then I was like, yeah, why don't I do it? And you just guide me, and said okay, and yeah, that's how it started.
And what do you do like to keep your Telugu culture going?
Watch Brahmanandam's comedy. I think that's the
Uh,
if my son doesn't do it, I'm gonna throw him out of the house. That's number one tradition. That you come, you watch, and you laugh. That's tradition. That's culture.
who's your favorite Telugu actor if you watch movies?
The old guys are very good. Chiranjeevi sir is great. I think he's the way I generally judge actors with the way they behave off screen. On screen doesn't really matter that much. Of course, everybody makes bad choices, and I respect that. Not everyone can be. Rana, I really like watching. I think his script choices are great. You never see him making a cringe movie. So I love watching Rana on screen. If the movie is good, I do watch it, but there's no real no fan thing for me. I watch everybody generally. There's nothing that no one that I don't like, no one that like over the others. But these two, Rana, because of his in a sense of strips. If you see the Ghazi attack, I really just love the movie. I loved Ghazi attack. I loved Leader. I loved Bahubali, of course. Everyone enjoyed it. I think it's pride of our state itself. Other than that, no one.
When you wake up every day, what keeps you going?
What keeps me going for now? Tennis, I would say.
Is there something or someone that really inspires you?
Many people, so I can't take one person's name. Probably my mom itself. I think if you ask me on a daily basis that how someone can be, not even if there's a lot of stress, can always manage a smile or just be calm.
We always need that support, man. They're the ones that who we
Yeah.
can rely and help us pay our pets. So that's
Yes.
definitely a great answer.
And one more inspiration is Andy Murray. I think after watching, you guys should watch the documentary on Prime Video. It's called Andy Murray Resurfacing. It's very very good, and I think from the beginning, Andy, maybe the way he plays, I'm not a very big fan of, but I think as a worker, there cannot be anybody like Andy. When it comes to hard work, he is I think number one in the world. I don't think anyone can have a better work ethic on and off the court.
Definitely, man. And I love documentaries. It's a way to show complete story of their inside life.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
just like how we got to know your story, we get to see how Andy Murray plays it out, his game. Mukund, I really think man, it's good to hear from a young individual who learned so much about the game and how to think through it, how to approach the game. It completely transformed you, I think, from the way you shared, from the way you think. I think that's wonderful, man. At this young age, like no one has that yet, and I'm so happy that you gone through. I'm pretty sure you got through a lot of struggles, a lot of shameful incidents. I think that helped you propel and be at a stage, and we're gonna root you, bro. I think after this pandemic, we're gonna see you on the court We're
Yeah,
gonna be
for sure. I hope I meet you guys someday when I come to the States.
yeah, we'll be in the front row. Expect us there.
Definitely.
US Open, man, that's your next step, and we're proud to say and to have you and to have met you, and we'll see you in the future, man.
Definitely, definitely.
Vishal, you wanna have some closing words?
This it was just amazing, and thank you for being part of our podcast, Mukund. And like I said
Yeah, thank you
before,
guys. I think was great questions and was I think you both are great people to spend time with. I honestly I really like both of you.
thank you
It
so
was a
much.
pleasure being here.
It's our pleasure. First of all, thank you for reaching out to us and wanting to be part of a podcast. And it was nice because people should know that you didn't just say, "Hey, like I want to be part of the podcast." You also wanted to make a new friend, and that's something that I really liked, and that's why I wanted to do this podcast with you as well. But I appreciate your time, great answers, and I'm sure a lot of people will be inspired once this podcast episode is out. So thank you for that. So to the audience, thank you for listening. We hope to keep you entertained with next week's podcast. Signing off,
Yeah,
Vishal and Sai.
bye.
And
See
bye,
you.
Mukund. See you.